Archaeologists have begun a major new excavation of the Roman city of Pompeii. It was destroyed nearly 2,000 years ago after Mount Vesuvius erupted.
What if the greatest secret of Pompeii wasn't buried in ash, but sealed beneath it? In early 2025, archaeologists uncovered a vault no one was supposed to find.
This is the small room just near the stable. You can see how cramped it is. We expect there to be great wealth in these suburban villas.
Containing scrolls that distort magnetic fields, a man with no ash in his lungs, and a cosmic alignment not due for decades. But what they found behind the basalt door shook even the most hardened scientists. You'll want to see what this vault was hiding and why it may have been waiting for us. The vault no one was supposed to find. For centuries, Pompeii has been a haunting time capsule, frozen in ash, yet whispering secrets through crumbling walls and plaster-cast bodies. But in early 2025, archaeologists working near the Porta Nola Gate stumbled upon a radar anomaly that defied all known maps of the city. Beneath an already excavated villa, ground-penetrating radar detected a perfectly rectangular cavity sealed beneath hardened volcanic debris. What they found next stunned even the most seasoned experts. A hidden underground vault, untouched since Mount Vesuvius's eruption nearly 2,000 years ago. This was not a burial chamber, nor a storeroom. It was something else entirely. The vaulted ceiling was still intact. The floor had a black and white mosaic of strange concentric patterns never before seen in Roman homes. But the real shock came when they forced open the stone-sealed door. Inside lay dozens of wooden chests, charred but preserved, positioned in a semicircle around a pedestal, holding what looked like a bronze sphere. Early testing revealed the sphere to be an orrery, an ancient mechanical model of the solar system, crafted with astonishing accuracy. It depicted not 5 but 8 planets. This detail alone threw scholars into a frenzy. Pluto was absent, but Uranus and Neptune, which weren't officially discovered until the 18th and 19th centuries, were included. How? Even more unsettling was an inscription at the base of the orrery in Oscan, a language that had mostly vanished by the time of Pompeii's destruction. Roughly translated, it read, "The watchers of the flame know the motion of the sky." While some dismissed this as esoteric nonsense, others pointed out eerie similarities with ancient Babylonian astronomer priests, who believed the flame of the gods moved in cycles across the heavens, an early nod to planetary motion. But here's where things get bizarre. Embedded in the walls were bronze plaques, each etched with a sequence of star charts and lunar eclipses. Astronomers from the University of Naples used simulation software to trace the sky patterns. And shockingly, one plaque depicted a solar alignment that wouldn't occur until the year 2043. The alignment was real, but how did someone in 79 AD predict it? Some theories now propose that the vault was the secret meeting place of an elite scientific sect operating outside Roman religious norms, possibly even persecuted for possessing forbidden knowledge. This idea gained traction after researchers uncovered a coded papyrus scroll in one of the chests. The ink was made from rare cinnabar mixed with gold flecks, and the scroll's strange shorthand appeared to describe timekeeping based on something called the sidereal drift, a term only modern astrophysics truly defines. As conservationists work carefully to unroll the remaining scrolls, speculation continues to grow. Was this vault Pompeii's last secret library, a scientific think tank disguised as a villa room, or something even older than the city itself, repurposed by those who feared it would be erased? All that is clear so far is this. Someone went to great lengths to hide this room from history, and they almost succeeded, until the scrolls were finally brought to light. The Forbidden Scrolls and the Cipher of the Flame. After careful extraction of the blackened chests, conservators discovered over 30 rolled papyrus scrolls, some sealed in copper tubes, others resting loose, but miraculously preserved due to the room's airtight insulation and orientation away from the eruption's thermal surge. Unlike the charred scrolls at Herculaneum, these weren't fused into carbon blocks. Instead, they bore a strange resistance to decay. Early ink analysis revealed that the scribes used a rare mixture of iron gall and lead oxide, metallic compounds that turned out to be slightly magnetic. That detail might have gone unnoticed, except for a shocking twist. When one scroll was placed near a high-powered MRI scanner at the Naples Conservation Laboratory, it triggered a momentary electromagnetic distortion. This shouldn't happen. The ink's magnetic signature shouldn't be strong enough to interfere with modern medical machinery. But it did, and that led to the next breakthrough. What if the ink was deliberately designed to interact with something more than just parchment? That's when researchers began scanning the scrolls with a process called multispectral imaging, layering infrared, ultraviolet, and even terahertz radiation to expose invisible markings. And what they found made international headlines. The scrolls were not written in Latin or Greek, as expected, but in a blend of Oscan, Greek, and a third language that remains unidentified. This unknown script has led some epigraphers to call it the Pompeii cipher. It's written in spirals, loops, and mathematical ratios. One symbol repeats often, a triangle inside a circle, with rays extending outward, eerily similar to later Renaissance drawings of the Eye of Providence. But perhaps the most captivating clue was the repeated mention of the Custodians of the Flame, an alleged brotherhood of Roman and foreign astronomer priests who believed the eruption of Vesuvius was not random, but cyclical. The scrolls reference something they call the Awakening Sequence, a period of time marked by celestial alignments, increased seismic activity, and mass psychological unrest. One translation, now widely debated, even suggests that a cleansing fire from the mountain shall return every 12th generation. To make matters even more unnerving, one scroll contains what appears to be a set of coordinates, not of Pompeii, but of a mountainous region in modern-day Albania. Archaeologists cross-referenced the point and found a long-rumored cave system with signs of Roman-era wall carvings, still unexcavated. Is this connected to the same group? Were they part of a transcontinental network? Meanwhile, one half-decoded scroll hints that the bronze orrery discovered earlier was part of a pair. The second device, according to the text, was built not to observe, but to summon. Whether that means astronomical calculations or something more metaphysical, no one can say for sure. But one thing is clear. Whoever wrote these scrolls had knowledge of astronomy, magnetism, geometry, and even cryptographic systems far beyond what was previously assumed for the Roman world. That realization took on even greater weight after what conservators found inside the blackened chests themselves. The skeleton with no ash in his lungs. When researchers turned their attention to the lone skeleton found inside the Pompeii vault, they expected to find another tragic story frozen in volcanic time. But what they uncovered instead only deepened the mystery. Unlike the thousands of other victims from Pompeii, whose final moments were marked by scorched flesh, collapsed walls, and scorched airways filled with ash, this individual showed no signs of thermal trauma. Even more shocking, a detailed scan of the rib cage and sinus cavity revealed no presence of volcanic ash or soot in the lungs. How is that possible? Pompeii was buried under superheated pyroclastic flows, avalanches of gas and ash that reached temperatures over 500 degrees Celsius and moved faster than a galloping horse. The heat alone was enough to vaporize internal organs and turn brains into glass, as was famously discovered in a separate victim near the Herculaneum Library. Yet the man inside the vault, surrounded by ash-sealed stone, was intact, his skeleton undistorted, his bones not warped by heat, his teeth still clenched. He did not die from the eruption. That single detail turned the investigation into something else. Forensic isotope testing revealed something unusual. The man had grown up far from Pompeii, likely in the Near East, possibly Judea or Syria, based on strontium levels in his teeth. And yet, he had been buried alone, deep beneath a private villa. DNA testing offered another clue. The man's maternal lineage traced back to a haplogroup common in ancient Egyptian priesthoods, and even rarer in the Roman Empire. His diet, lean proteins, Mediterranean herbs, no pork, further suggests a ritualistic or religious discipline. This wasn't a servant, a citizen, or a tradesman. He was someone else. Was he the author of the scrolls, a keeper of the vault, or something more symbolic? A human offering, preserved alongside sacred tools for some forgotten cosmological rite. More eerily, when researchers reconstructed his last position using bone articulation software, they discovered he wasn't cowering or shielding himself. He was kneeling, hands clasped in front of his chest, face tilted upward. Some likened it to prayer, others to submission. But the posture wasn't forced, it was deliberate. He may have died meditating or voluntarily enclosed himself in the chamber, anticipating something apocalyptic. This finding triggered a storm of theories. Was this vault more than a secret laboratory? Could it have been a ritual bunker, a space reserved for what ancient texts sometimes called the reversing of the skies? A few scholars referenced parallels to Mithraic temples and Zoroastrian fire sanctuaries, where priests would lock themselves away to commune with the stars. Could this man have entered the vault expecting to survive the eruption? Or was he fulfilling an oath to guard knowledge until a distant future rediscovered it? And yet, the mystery didn't end with his posture or his past. What lay near him on the walls and scrolls pointed towards something far stranger, something not even time should explain. The symbol that shouldn't exist. Among the most confounding elements discovered within the hidden vault was a symbol, burnished into bronze, etched into the scrolls, even painted faintly on one wall in a pigment that fluoresced under UV light. At first glance, it looked vaguely geometric, a six-pointed star enclosed within a ring, flanked by what appeared to be planetary glyphs. But when a professor of archaeoastronomy compared the star's internal angles and line ratios to known star maps, he noticed something staggering. The formation mirrored the Great Planetary Conjunction of 2043, a rare celestial alignment still decades in our future. The alignment isn't just symbolic. According to orbital calculations from the European Southern Observatory, this specific configuration will only occur once every 13,000 years. How could a Roman-era sect have charted this with such precision? Some claimed coincidence. Others, however, suggested something far more radical, that whoever created the symbol possessed knowledge of precessional cycles, a slow wobble in Earth's axis only discovered by Hipparchus in the 2nd century BC, and rarely understood even centuries later. The symbol was also found engraved on a strange copper plate embedded in the vault floor. When metallurgists ran spectrographic tests, they were stunned to find trace amounts of iridium and osmium, elements more common in meteorites than in the Earth's crust. The artifact's structure also showed signs of having been cold-worked, shaped without heating. Such metallurgy shouldn't have been possible in the 1st century. "We don't have evidence they could do this," said Dr. Elisa Montani of the Naples Archaeological Institute. But here it is. It exists. Even more astonishing was what lay beneath the symbol on the floor. Ground beneath the copper plate was carefully layered not with Roman concrete, but with crushed quartz crystals and layers of magnetite powder, arranged in concentric circles. This led to a cascade of speculation online and in academia. Was this a resonance chamber, a primitive energy device? Or perhaps, as one fringe theory proposed, a calendar lock, designed to be opened or activated only during specific planetary alignments? Skeptics scoffed, until a recent experiment changed everything. When a team of researchers recreated a scale model of the symbol's design using the same materials and exposed it to frequencies between 165 Hz and 200 Hz, they noticed a distinct vibration pattern forming in the quartz layer, something known in physics as a cymatic signature. The pattern aligned almost perfectly with the shape of the symbol, meaning the structure responded to specific sound frequencies. It was built to resonate. But for what purpose? Now, theorists are scrambling. Some suggest it was used for amplifying astronomical observations, possibly linked to planetary resonance. Others believe it may have been tied to ritual chants, unlocking altered states of consciousness in the custodian who knelt above it. But one phrase, found inscribed on the inner lid of a scroll container, echoes again and again in recent discussions. When the flame returns, the gate shall open. What flame? What gate? And why was it meant to be opened only after thousands of years? Whatever the true purpose of the vault was, scientific, spiritual, or something in between, it's clear the people who built it weren't just observing the stars, they were waiting for something. The Corridor of Echoes. While researchers were still puzzling over the strange resonance design beneath the copper plate, seismic imaging of the vault revealed a narrow passage extending deeper underground, a tunnel so precisely carved it seemed almost machined. The archaeologists dubbed it the Corridor of Echoes after they noticed something uncanny. Every spoken word inside it reverberated not as an echo, but as a harmonic tone, a sound that seemed to sing back at them. The corridor measured only 1.6 meters high and ran for nearly 40 meters beneath Pompeii's southern quarter, cut through volcanic tufa that had hardened after the eruption. But unlike Roman masonry, which typically used mortar and brick, the walls here were fused smooth, as though they had been melted into shape. Scientists initially suspected ancient geothermal activity, yet spectroscopy revealed no signs of heat alteration. Instead, the walls were composed of an unusual blend of calcite, ash, and glass-like silicate, the same composition found in fulgurites. Natural tubes formed when lightning strikes the ground. To test the corridor's acoustics, engineers from the University of Naples set up hypersensitive microphones along its length. When a single tone, 174 Hz, the healing frequency in some modern sound theories, was played at one end, the corridor amplified it threefold at the other, producing an eerie hum that lingered even after the sound source stopped. The reverberations lasted 46 seconds, far longer than any normal echo. The sound, as one researcher described, felt alive. Further inside, at the corridor's terminus, they found something even stranger. A sealed basalt door, its face covered in a thin layer of volcanic glass, perfectly smooth except for a single groove spiraling inward. Embedded within that groove was powdered magnetite, the same magnetic material found beneath the vault's symbol. When magnetometers were brought in, the instruments spiked violently. The magnetic field inside the tunnel was 20 times stronger than the surrounding rock. That's when an art historian noticed a faint inscription near the door's base. Though eroded, a few Latin words were legible. Vox clavis et astra est. The voice is the key to the stars. The phrase triggered a new hypothesis, that the corridor was designed as a kind of acoustic key, a chamber where sound itself could trigger movement or access. Ancient engineers, after all, were masters of resonance and hydraulics. The Greeks had built theaters that could amplify a whisper. Could the Pompeians, or some secret order among them, have taken this mastery to another level? The basalt door, as it's now called, remains sealed. Archaeologists are reluctant to use drills or explosives for fear of destroying what lies beyond. But ground-penetrating radar has detected a void behind it, roughly the size of a small room, with dense metallic signatures at its center. What lies within, whether ritual chamber, astronomical device, or something that defies all three categories, remains a mystery. The room that shouldn't exist. After months of studying the magnetic anomalies beyond the basalt door, researchers decided to employ a non-invasive imaging method known as muon tomography, the same cosmic ray scanning technology used to map the internal chambers of Egypt's pyramids. What they found stunned everyone. The void behind the basalt door wasn't a small chamber as first believed. It was a perfect cube, precisely 9.14 meters on each side, aligned to true north within a margin of less than 1 degree. Its geometric perfection defied the tools known to Roman engineers. Inside the cube, the scanners detected 4 vertical pillars arranged in a square, each with a dense metallic core. Between them, at the very center, rested a spherical object about 1 meter wide, giving off a weak but steady electromagnetic signature. When the scan data was processed into 3-dimensional renderings, a chilling detail emerged. The pillars and sphere were connected by fine channels, as if designed for the movement of fluid or energy. To some on the team, it looked eerily similar to the layout of a modern capacitor, a device that stores electrical charge. But this was supposed to be from the 1st century AD. The cube's mathematical precision only deepened the mystery. Every dimension, height, width, even the distance between the pillars, corresponded to ratios found in the Platonic solids, ancient Greek geometric forms believed to represent the building blocks of the universe. And when the orientation of the chamber was mapped against the stars, as they would have appeared on the night of Pompeii's destruction in 79 AD, its north-south axis aligned exactly with the constellation Lyra, the ancient symbol of music and divine harmony. Some archaeologists proposed a more grounded explanation. Perhaps it was a Roman experiment in sound and magnetism, a forgotten workshop of philosophers influenced by Pythagorean mysticism. But others, including geophysicist Dr. Helena Vasari, weren't convinced. This structure was sealed centuries before the eruption, she noted. The volcanic layers above it are undisturbed. Whatever it was, it existed long before Pompeii as we know it. Further complicating matters, the metallic sphere at the chamber's center emitted a faint hum, barely audible to the human ear, but measurable with precision instruments. The frequency? 432 Hz, the same tone associated with the Earth's natural resonance, and with music theorized to harmonize with the universe's vibrations. In a move that has sparked fierce debate, Italian authorities have restricted further excavation of the site until full stabilization of the volcanic ground can be ensured. But leaked documents hint that before sealing the chamber again, researchers lowered a thermal imaging probe through a micro-bore hole. It captured only 6 seconds of video before the equipment failed, showing a mirrored surface within, like liquid metal rippling in slow motion. Some scientists think it's simply mineralized mercury, which Romans used in rituals and experiments. Others whisper that the mirror is something else entirely, a device meant to reflect not light, but sound or energy. What do you think it all means? Subscribe.